Chapter 3 of this book, called the Hado of Consciousness, is going to be called the mathematics of consciousness. And this is going to be a focus wheel and a meditation on the idea of what mathematics is. I went to elementary school, went to preschool, elementary school, I went to middle school, I went to high school, and a little bit of college. And I never learned what mathematics was there. I had an astrology book that vibrated very heavily for me one day in the library, and it related Mercury to the child or the sibling, Venus to a wife or a lover, Jupiter to a grandpa, and then I learned the zodiac, the trine relationship between Jupiter and Sagittarius, and say the Sun and Aries, and the fire signs being a trine. And I felt what the idea of the trine was, and I felt the idea of what an opposition was. And suddenly, this is going to be a big conversation. Through school, everything that I accumulated on the idea of what mathematics was had nothing to do with mathematics once I found it. And I did find mathematics, but I didn't find it in a mathematical vocabulary. So, for example, we have the base 10 system, and we have the 0. All these are symbols to how we really use basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, which were all things people had to find in their consciousness. They all had to find this halo of consciousness. And many, Copernicus found it through study of movements in space, astronomy. And once I understood astrology, it was very, very simple because it made sense. And it made sense in a way most people say things don't make sense. But I was able to pick up the wavelength. Astrology was a good connection from who I am as Andrew to my relationship with God. As was Jesus, we can discern the Son and the three parts of the Trinity through this conversation. That these are all points of Hados, and we play archetypal roles in the in-between. So I give credence then. Cat Stevens had a CD, Numbers, which I'm bringing back now. And you may give up your number, disown all your wealth. You may give up all the pieces, but you'll never, never give up yourself. And through that was resonant with the idea of numerology, through the idea of law of attraction, using new words now, and resonance was able to pick up understandings and free those understandings with a sense of logic. It was really, really easy. So I know how to do mathematics, and I know how to do physics. Mathematics is astrology. Now, if we can call that really what it is, mathematics is astrology, and physics is law of attraction. If we begin to discern those and go to school on those ideas, on whatever connections brought you around, because I was always absent of mathematical and scientific understanding. Even if I could memorize things in a sequence, I they were distant, they were far, they were at opposition to what, once I actually found the place in the Akashic Records where mathematics is a need for personal concept, sometimes through percentage, through the concept of mathematics. So here now becomes a very, very, very big conversation. And the conversation here is, how does the Hado represent principles of mathematics? Multiplication is frequency. Those things multiply through life experience. We call them habits. Multiplication habits. Addition. Adding one. Adding to your conscious. Ask, and it shall be added unto you. Seek, and it shall be added unto you. Knock, and all these things shall be added unto you. Every finite bit of consciousness is a place for memory, which we now know is an emotional tapestry of the Akashic Records. And we navigate through the day the Akashic Records. And I'm going to have to do a chapter on that because this chapter is really good. Subtraction. Comes the idea to me, Oz never gave nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have. So subtraction, now we use the law that matter cannot be created nor destroyed, is a chemical transformation. Subtraction is diffusion, is fractal. And so once we use the understanding of the Hado, we have a relationship to geometry. Through law of attraction, through the zodiac, just some ideas that I've picked up along the way, we can see ourselves as centered. And ideas have geometrical relationships to us so that we can discern them through the principles of geometry. And those concepts are emotional. And the concepts are distance. How far away was that? Was it trying? Was it connecting? Was it connecting? Was it squaring? These are all little discernments that we use the symbols of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the symbols of plus, minus, times, divide, trine, square, opposition. We have a tool belt now, is what we're developing. So that's actually what I'm going to call the chapters, the tool belt. Parentheses, mathematics of consciousness. So we understand that these are symbols of relationship, reflecting the Trinity. So really good words here. Really good emotional understanding that I have of this. So, and it'll be added on to you. So I gave emotional resonance for something. Let's try percent and decimal now. Percent has to do with dividing, has again to do with fractals, has to do with addition, and a certain amount, which is division. So that's what that is, and that's where the decimal comes in. Now, before we end the chapter, let's relate it to the idea of dimensions, which is a big word. The way I understand dimensions is I see myself on the linear line, but dimensional reality can see future trends and future habits by resonance of emotions, by resonance of meetings, that the more you allow the experiences to happen, the more those points of meeting begin to help you, begin to show you, tell you more, and show you more. So then dimensions is being able to see non-linearly, which is the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records is the emotional vibration of symbols that can be added, subtracted, divided, multiplied. So there's our geometry. And I guess divided again into dimensions as we come up with higher and higher concepts reflecting the Hado.